We have three authors of this book. Bhagavad Gita on chapter 2, Unlocking the Human Potential. We have the very first author, Avanti Kundalia. She is a Vedanta teacher based in Singapore who dedicates her life to validating the efficacy of Vedantic teaching in daily life. She runs several Bhagavad Gita sessions globally and making the changes to many lives by having forums and focusing on one-on-one sessions, giving them coaching, giving them mentorship. She is also a writer, author, and working on various spiritual texts, converting them to English language, which has been well recognized globally. She has participated in many global forums, including 2023 Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam C20 Summit and World Hindu Congress. She also has co-authored the first Gita Odyssey series book on chapter 1, First Step into Bhagavad Gita. So please give a round of applause for Avanti Kundalia.
The same work they are doing, software engineering or cooking or whatever it is, as a means for their spiritual progress. So this is the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita. So the Bhagavad Gita is not going to tell you to change what you are doing. It is only going to change you to change the mindset in which you are doing the action. This is the key message of the chapter 2.
Wow, thank you Rajesh ji. Change the mindset. That is really important for each and every one of us. Now I would like to go on the how part, and Dr. Tomar, this question is to you. When I was introduced to Bhagavad Gita back in 2003, it was very overwhelming for me. And I'm sure that people who start with Bhagavad Gita for the very first time, it might be the similar kind of experience for them as well. How does this book simplifies that part for a reader who is new to this book or trying to get or delve into Bhagavad Gita?
In last 5,000 years of civilized history, there has been three battles: man versus man, man versus nature, and man versus within. Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, Adi Atma. And if you see closely, we have not significantly improved in any of these battles, rather we have deteriorated. More battles between man versus man ever than before probably. Man versus within, certainly. More battles than ever than before. We are living in the most unrestful times in the history of civilization. Internal unrest. As they say, earlier civilization was destroyed by external attack. This civilization will get destroyed by internal attack, by our attacks of our thoughts. Many of the doctors of All India Medical tells me that when people come with a heart attack and meet me, after talking to them, we realize, no, it's not heart attack, it's thought attack. They thought so much that it brought attack to them. Bhagavad Gita, this book teaches you how to think clearly. What level of consciousness you should be able to see, because a little bit higher when you go in consciousness, the sight becomes different. It doesn't solve all the problems, this book, but for sure it will eliminate the intensity those problems had on you. Those problems will lose its impact on you. Problems still may persist. There are many problems, they will persist, but they will lose their capacity to impact you. This is what for the book has been written.
Thank you, Dr. Tomar. That was wonderful. Now, just to let you know, all right, my next question is around like from where they are, and these three individuals live in different parts of the world. Avanti is from Singapore, Rajesh ji is from USA, and Vikrant ji from India. I mean, and then three different backgrounds. Dr. Tomar is a management guru, while Shri Rajesh ji is an IT professional, and obviously Avanti is a coach, mentor, and a psychologist. So, how did you all decide to write a book, and how does it work for you, like the time zone and everything, like coordination? What made you think that, okay, we all three want to write this book and make the change in the life of many people?
Jai Mahakal.
Jai Mahakal.
The first time I met Vikrant ji actually was after my very first Mahakal Darshan 2 years ago. And lo and behold, we are sitting with 2 books published. We didn't know each other at all from Adams. Nobody knew who he was in America. And we just came together. How did this happen? This is where you surrender to divine will and divine grace. Each of us had this very big talab for the Bhagavad Gita. Talab means, what do you say? Thirst, quest for the Bhagavad Gita ourselves, and an even greater quest to spread it around. See, it's like a little child when he goes to Disneyland and sees something really amazing. He wants to come and tell all his friends what he sees. So like, I think Vikrantji said in one of his speeches, that when you see yourself, even glimpses of yourself, when you see even a little bit of this knowledge works, the excitement, as you can still tell, of I'm jumping out of my seat to tell to you, is unfathomable. So just that thirst to know it ourselves and to spread the word around, Mahakal got us together. There is no other explanation, logical and palatable for any of you to take as to how this happened. And it was an impossible task given the time zones. It was an impossible task to integrate 3 different personalities. We are such different personalities, not to mention there are 2 different genders involved in this, but we made that happen, and we did it with Mahakal's grace. Thank you.
Sir, you want?
As you were authoring the book, what did you discover about yourself which you did not know before?
A lot. So, we have been reading and teaching Bhagavad Gita for the last 20 years. I would say last 1 year, when we were working on this book, the knowledge we gained was, it cannot be compared. Like the 20 years plus the last 1 year is unparalleled. The second thing was, writing a book, it triggers a lot of, because that is why this book took 1 year, because initially we were planning to complete this in 3 months. There were a lot of places we got stuck, which we had to clarify. One thing we made sure that we won't write anything if we are not clear about that. So the first, the chapter 2, shloka 12 to 25, it took a lot of time because it is talking about your own nature. We may not have seen it completely, but definitely our understanding got elevated.
Maybe Vikrantji, I'll slightly modify the question for you. When 3 people from very different backgrounds are writing, obviously there will be points of view.
Okay. You can bring mic near to your mouth.
So my question to Vikrantji was, 3 people from 3 different backgrounds, and each one of them would have their own points of view. So I'm sure there would have been times when there were differences, etc. How did you reconcile that? Or did you even reconcile that?
Actually, rather than a challenge, it is an opportunity that we have very different views on things. So we saw the same truth from different dimensions. Rajesh's expertise is his authentic scriptural knowledge. He goes very deep into it. Avanti ji's strength is her expression, ability to connect. And probably due to extensive travel, my area is more about how it is absolutely relevant to people, because I have met around 300,000 people. So when you meet 300,000 people, you listen to so many problems. So when you listen so many problems, then it echoes in you. So when you are writing a book, then you know that what are the problems people have. So I think that because we come from different backgrounds, it's a boon.
Yeah, so your question was, what did it teach us about ourselves as well? So I think this has been the most transformative journey for me, writing on chapter 2, because I think right towards the end, almost towards publication, exactly what he said happened, where we clashed on points of view. And we each had to hold our own, of course. This is human beings, human nature. And this is me, a Bhagavad Gita teacher, that is telling everybody else not to do that. And in an instant, I was brought back because I was writing this book night and day. What effort has gone into this book? Only there have tears been spilled, upon this writing. My husband's been witness to that. And immediately, just with what I've written, going back to what I have written, it told me, it reminded me, you're not doing this for yourself. Where you're saying you're the Atma, you're not the body, you're not the mind, you're not the intellect, and you're getting caught up in this nonsense that the intellect and the mind is fighting over. What right do you have even to write this book? And it just showed me so many aspects of camaraderie, of partnership, of alliance. And I'm so thankful to both Vikrant ji and Rajesh ji for bearing up with whatever unsaid and said tantrums I might have had even within my head, and still making this happen. Because now that I've crossed this hurdle, whoever wants to write books with us, please, you're most welcome. You're not going to have this hurdle again. Thank you.
First of all, I want to congratulate all of you for bringing out this wonderful book on this auspicious occasion. Just I want to, as I am also a seeker on this path, Bhagavad Gita, it's a beginner life or baby steps. I'm also going on baby steps. There are two aspects which I have seen basically, and in that many people starts Bhagavad Gita. They say it starts from second chapter. So many people don't want to interpret. I think Shankaracharya ji also, if I'm not wrong, they have given bhashya on second. And second opinion is, if you know second and third chapter, then next chapters are, mix and match of all this. So at the end of the third chapter, after Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga, the Bhagavad Gita ends. That is also one opinion. So being learned and in-depth knowledge from all of you, just want to throw some light and guide us. Thank you.
So, two questions. Before he commenting on the 11th verse of second chapter, he writes a detailed introduction that captures the essence of the first chapter. In fact, there is a long sentence in which he captures the essence of the entire first chapter. So the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is the problem statement. What exactly is the problem we are trying to solve? So that is demonstrated through an ancient historical incident happened in the past. That is what chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. The same idea Shankaracharya took and he neutralized and he presented it as a general human problem. That is why he didn't come in the chapter 1. So if you read Shankara Bhashya, if you read the introduction, you may not need the chapter 1.
But it is better to read chapter 1 always. Second question. One correction, what you said is correct. The second chapter of the Gita is known as the index chapter. It covers every topic, almost all the major topics. It covers Sankhya Yoga, it covers Swadharma, it covers Karma Yoga, it covers Sthitat Prajna Lakshana. Chapter 3 to chapter 18 is, chapter 17 in fact, is an elaboration of what is covered in chapter 2. And 18 in fact is a recap of everything. So this is how, so if you really look at the Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter is a summary, an index, and then 3 to 17 is an elaboration, and then a recap. Samkshepa, Vikshara, Samkshepa. Again, we follow that in the modern communication styles. If you look at a news bulletin, You have a headlines, and then each point will be elaborated. Finally, it will be recapped. Exact same style.
This book to the world of Gita literature. And secondly, I was very much impressed that this is not another academic exercise. This is really your experiential journey. Thank you so much. And thank you.
Interpretations are more Sankhya dominating. Some interpretations are from Bhakti side, some interpretations are from Gyan Marga. I would rather say that the interpretation in this book is more Vedantic interpretation than Sankhyan interpretation or yogic interpretation. So one view that we have seen this book on complete interpretation of Bhagavad Gita is Vedantic. And second is, there are many things which are conflicting, but then Swami Dayananda Saraswati once said that once you feel that certain things is conflicting, one master's talk is conflicting with another grandmaster's talk, then probably we may need to doubt our own understanding about both of the talks rather than doubting that they are speaking different things. So many places I found when we went more deeper, we realized, yes, they were trying to say the same thing, but because their audience were different, they were trying to convey something different, or many times the contexts were different. And that also we found it also caused differences. But yes, the question is very valid. So the one-liner answer would be we followed Vedantic approach, and second is trying to identify that whether the interpretation is more contextual, then we make it more
What Vikrant said, what we followed is Advaita Vedanta interpretation. So, and second thing is that these differences are apparent because they are different point of views, because the entire view is not clear to an ordinary person. So, a point of view presenting the Gita in a particular metaphysical model. That is why the difference is there. And third thing, one thing we consistently followed in this book is we tried to make sure that Sloka 1 is connected to Sloka 2 and the holistic picture is maintained. So you won't see inconsistencies between the Sloka. It will flow from Sloka 1 to Sloka 72 and it fits with the overall framework. That is one thing we consistently ensure to avoid exactly the same problem you have been telling.
And also, sir, we've been very, very careful with not being insensitive to other approaches to the Bhagavad Gita. Like many a times where we have strictly stuck to Advaita Vedanta, where in our view we look at when Krishna says me, it is Atma, which is the same in you and the same in me, they're not different. But we have also made it a point, in case the book falls in some person's hand who thinks Krishna is different, we've made it a point very nicely. If you read it, you'll see how well it's all interwoven, that for some, Krishna would be an object of devotion, and then everything that is supposed to be turned towards the Atma, to the altar of the self, is offered to the altar of Krishna. So we've not made that our mainstay in the book. We have stuck to Advaita Vedanta, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, that direction, but we have been very, very sensitive to all the other paths that come in to teach the Bhagavad Gita. I hope that helps.
Just to let audience know, Professor Srinivas Varkedi, who asked the question, is one of the most significant authorities about scriptures in the country. He is Vice Chancellor of Central Sanskrit University. That's why you could see, we all three had to answer his question together.
Thank you. I mean, we are already 5 minutes over that. Just one quick announcement. This book is available to purchase here at a very discounted rate with the signature of one of the authors, whoever you would want to. So please contact Mohsin or Sakshi to get this book if you want. The last question, one takeaway shloka from chapter 2, if I may ask from each one of you. Can you please tell which one would be, maybe start from Avanti?
All are so nice. Also at the end of the chapter, we've kept 12 most beautiful shlokas that you should, and that we've taken a lot of labor in explaining. We've used Shankaracharya's Bhashya, and where he gives the example of the ball as well. When the ball falls down the stairs, it's easy to stop it in the first or second step, that too, depending on your agility, but goes to the fourth step when anger strikes in. That's it, it's the end. So that we've taken a lot of time, because if we can cinch that, just the ladder of fall, and if we can know how to climb up again, we'll save ourselves out of a lot of problems.
For me, certainly it was 47th shloka, Karmanyevadhikaraste Mahaleshu Kathajana. Especially in my personal view, the most difficult idea to understand in Bhagavad Gita is Karma Yoga, and even this shloka is misinterpreted a lot. So the choice or control given to me is in action, not in the result. So focus on your action and then accept whatever comes after that. This is a beginning of the Karma Yoga. This will be elaborated further. How to do karma, meaning the key point we need to understand is nobody can do Karma Yoga. We can do only karma. How we can transform the karma into yoga is the change in the mental attitude, which is known as yoga buddhi. So that is my favorite stroke.
I am really confused. Chapter 2 is the summary of the summary, and you're asking what is the summary of the summary of the summary? There is a verse which I like very much. Vihai kamanya sarva puman charati nispraha nirmama nirankaraha sam shantim adhigacchati. One who leaves all that bounded desires, leaves the ego, leaves possessions, and who walks his life, dwells his life without these things, that person certainly reaches to peace. I take it as a formula of peace. Whenever I miss my father, I always chant this shloka, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu. So every verse of this chapter 2 is inspiring, depends on in what state of life you are and what are you thinking at that moment. So thank you for asking the most difficult question in the last.
Thank you, Dr. Tomar. Thank you so much again. Thanks to all of you. Sorry.
One more point. Actually, we released the chanting of this chapter, and the audiobook is coming in, or the first chapter is coming in May, because in the audiobook you will listen to the chanting in the professional chanting way, and also Avanti is sitting here. She recorded the whole book as audiobook, and that will be available in all the audio platforms.
Thank you so much, Avneet, and thank you all three of you for giving us the time, and thank you audience for wonderful questions.